All right, folks, back to that Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, folks, many of them forced us trying to take our health seriously in 2019. Folks want to get healthy, folks want to get well, folks want to feel a lot better and lose some weight. Well, one of the ways to do that is working with one of our partners, the folks at D-Herbs. Yesterday, of course, we talked to the CEO, Dr. A.D. Dolphin. The D-Herb Full Body Cleanse is a great way for you to feel better. And, of course, look, many of us, how we eat, how we abuse our bodies, we ate all kinds of stuff during the holidays, processed foods, fried foods, you name it. And so what this cleanse does is just clean out the toxic buildup in your system. I've been doing it for this is like day 12. And so, yeah, I still want a good piece of chicken or some steak, but I can't. But between the raw vegetables and between the cleanses, that's exactly what it does. And so what we can all do, the D-Herbs cleanse together. You can go to deherbs.com, use the promo code ROLAND for a discount at checkout. That's the letter deherbs.com, or you can call 866-4DHERBS, 866-4DHERBS. That's 866-4DHERBS, and use the promo code ROLAND. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video. The deconstruction of Senator Lindsey Graham continues with our panel. Derek Johnson, CEO of NAACP. He joins us right now. We also, of course, we have C.J. Pearson, who's on the panel, Republican. She's also with CEO Jordan Management Group. We have A. Scott Bolden, of course, Aloysius, former chair, National Bar Association Political Action Committee, and of course, Greg Carr, Alpha Man. He is head of the Department of Afro-American Studies at Howard University. There, it was just I was watching this video and I was sitting there going, dude, this is not hard.
It really isn't. If you understand that political parties are vehicles for agenda, and there was a period in time where the William F. Buckley branch of the Republican Party merged with the John Birch Society branch of the Republican Party, and they created the movement conservative when they adopted the George Wallace part of the party, which were the Dixiecrats. And they formed a new reality and created a strategy called the silent majority. And they used race as the wedge issue to rally a base to get into power. And their first major candidate was Ronald Reagan.
And also the book that is the blueprint that changed all of this is The Conscience of a Conservative. Go to my iPad, you'll see it.
Yes. The
Conscience of a Conservative. This is the book that changed it all, that established the foundation of the present-day Republican Party. Go ahead.
Absolutely. And, you know, Conscience of a Conservative, or I like Paul Krugman's book, Conscience of a Liberal, which gives us our perspective of what was taking place. And what was happening then, the intellectuals of the Republican Party, William F. Buckley, they realized they had no feet on the ground. And the John Birch portion of the party, they were upset because of New Deal policies. They didn't want to be taxed. Their corporations didn't want regulations. They wanted taxes. And the Dixiecrats, based on race, had the feet on the ground. And when those three factions merged, then it created a reality where black Republicans had no place because the platforms were being designed by these newly developed think tanks, the Cato Institute, the Heritage Foundation, the Enterprise, and they came up with an approach that really isolated African-American interests, and we seen a sharp decline started in 1965, but it accelerated around 1971 where we had no place. And so the traditional black Republican clubs in Memphis, my predecessor come out of that black Republican club, Ben Hooks in Memphis, or in Atlanta, because in the South, African Americans, we could not participate in a Democratic primary because they were segregationist parties until we challenged them in '64 out of Mississippi. And once we broke that open, we could actually participate. But prior to that, in order for an African American to vote, to participate, they had to be a Republican. But that group changed the agenda of the Republican Party, and they began an aggressive effort to isolate by using dog whistle politics. They no longer needed to use the N-word. They just had to talk about tax policy differently.
And in fact, Lee Atwater, who of course led the campaign of President George H.W. Bush, who he appointed to head the Republican National Committee, there were recordings that were made of what you just said. He is on tape saying that is exactly what he said. We can't use the N-word anymore.
Gotta be settled.
But there are other things that we can use that say the exact same thing. CJ, again, to sit here and watch Lindsey Graham I just don't understand why we get these low grades.
Lindsey Graham come out of that Dixiecrat lineage.
Right.
He's out of the South Carolina.
Right.
He probably was a former Democrat, or his family was, and they switched in that early 70s period.
CJ?
Well, speaking of Lindsey Graham and watching your hearing, and thanks for you being here, my question is, when I look at the NAACP report card, I have longtime friends. I came up through Jesse Gooding and others. I am deeply concerned when you talk about education and you don't even have questions about school choice. And what is your position on school choice?
Our position have always been the same: quality education for all children. If you take 10% of the kids out of the system and you created a private reality, there is no evidence that you provide quality education, because what happened to the other 90%?
And my issue
And there's
with that,
no choice in Louisiana under that rubric, because it's all a charter reality and no better.
some of those schools are performing and some of them are not. But at the end of the day, the NAACP should have school choice as an option on your education.
Okay, hold
card.
on. Wait, hold up. Okay, that's one issue. What else you got?
And I'm going to continue. And I think
First of all, I support school choice, but what else you got? No, what else you got?
When we talk about economic development, all the black Democrats should have an F, because I don't see where there's been any economic development.
All Democrats should have what?
In Congress, because if you look at our districts based on the fact that since, 70s, we've had the Congressional Black Caucus, look at the districts.
Okay, no, hold on. CJ.
Roland.
Here's where you mess up. When you say economic development, okay, please tell me who is trying to completely get rid of the Small Business Development Agency out of the federal budget in 2019. Who proposed that?
It's a realignment of the funds.
No. It's not a realignment. It's complete. No. Hold on. Let me help
It's
you.
a realignment.
No. They want to completely get rid of the only federal agency that is designed to assist minority-owned businesses that was started under a Republican president.
Who was that president? Nixon.
And at the end of the day, again.
So how you want to talk about economic development
I'm talking
when
about
you
economic-
want to get rid of the very agency that is designed to help minority businesses?
And
I'm
again,
just-
The Nixons of the party, the Fords of the party, was not a part of this alignment. They actually detest this new realignment of the Lee Atwater Group and the John Birch Society and the Dixiecrats, because they understand that the racial appeal was un-American and it would undermine and subvert democracy as we know it.
And if
When
you
we
want to
talk
talk
about
about, if you want to criticize,
what are you
hold
doing
up,
about
if
the
you want
opportunity
to,
investment?
wait, if you want to criticize Democrats about economics again,
And I am.
affirmative action was created by Arthur Fletcher under Richard Nixon.
And we
That
haven't
was
dismantled it.
specifically.
And Arthur Fletcher was a life member and a strong supporter of NAACP, and much
And we
of
haven't
what is
So
dismantled
I'm just trying to understand.
we support
You
it.
want to challenge that, but Republicans
and we-
oppose affirmative action, which is tied to economic development.
No, when you look at economic development, where were those civil rights groups? And we talked
Okay.
about the new tax deal around opportune investment zones. Is it on the voter,
We support
scorecard? No.
opportunity zones,
Where were
but when
you?
you put in a larger package of redistribution of wealth from the poor back up to the rich.
How's that redistribution?
One second.
How's that
Hold
redistribution?
on, one second.
How's that redistribution of
One
wealth?
second. I'm trying to understand. Hold on. You said opportunity zones.
Yes.
It was passed.
It was passed.
But here's the question.
How's it
Here's the
redistribution?
question. Where the money?
Well, the money is coming from private investors.
Okay.
The money that they bring in
Okay,
offshore.
I got it.
in there
Anyway,
on
Scott
capital
Griggs, step
gains.
in, please.
I don't think there's a whole lot more to be said, but it's a fascinating discussion that you just had about the historical perspective of the Dixiecrats and the space of which Lindsey Graham comes out of. For our viewers, though, can you tie it up with the Southern strategy, with the 1964 Civil Rights Act by Lyndon Baines Johnson? That seems to be at the heart of the base of this discussion.
It's all of it.
It's all of it.
It's all of it.
But,
At the end of the day, Greg, the modern day Republican Party consistently opposes a wide swath of issues that black folks are concerned about. You can specifically mention school choice, fine. You can specifically mention opportunity zones. Fine, that's 2. What I'm trying to say is, but what I just read for you, almost 20. And Greg, at the end of the day, Lindsey Graham shouldn't be freaking out as to how he got 22% and why they keep flunking NAACP report card.
Yeah, well, Lindsey Graham has showed us over the last 2 years that he is thoroughly disingenuous and not to be believed. What President Johnson just did and what you just did in laying this out, and I agree with Scott, it was a brilliant kind of a discussion of how the Republican Party came to where they are now. They made a deal with the devil about 50 years ago. And they have done it. You say this over and over again in this space. The demographics are against them. The time bomb has finally gone off. And what you and Mark did yesterday challenging Lindsey Graham is just taking off another layer of this. It's only a matter of time before the Republican Party implodes if they continue on this.
And voter suppression is a big part of that.
Oh, it has to be.
Because they know that their views of the world are in the minority.
That's right. Well,
they have to be.
CJ, I want you to answer this. I just want you to answer this here.
That's right.
I want you to answer this. If Lindsey Graham is trying to figure out how his party keeps failing, and he wants to close the gap, why won't Lindsey Graham be the Senate sponsor of the bill to restore Section 4 of the Voting Rights Act, which was struck down in Section 5 in Shelby v. Holder? Why won't Lindsey Graham stand up and say to his party, we must end massive voter suppression, we must stop trying to keep the formerly incarcerated folks from voting? If he wants a higher score, there's a way to get a higher score.
Well,
support those things. What's your response?
And again, we have Senate Resolution 3191 the president just signed on cold cases from the Civil Rights Act.
Oh.
Yes, which was a bill presented by Senator Doug Jones and Senator Ted Cruz. But I want you to answer
and
my
he did vote for
I
it.
want you to answer. Hold on,
I'm going to answer
I want you
that
to answer my specific question.
I'm going to get to that. You never let me get to what you
asked. Well, no, because you brought up the cold case deal.
You said 20, and I'm giving you an additional one to get to your 20.
I was very specific about voter suppression and the Voting Rights Act. Answer that.
And I would like for Mr. Johnson to do a request to meet with the chairman of the Judiciary and discuss this.
We're looking at our calendars now.
And so
Republicans all the
but
time.
hold on, wait, hold on. Since you opened that door, Derek, Shelby v. Holder was 2012.
And
I'm not done. This is 2019. In the last 7 years, what has been the response from, first of all, because he wasn't chairman of the committee before, what was the response of Grassley in the Senate and Paul Goodlatte in the House when it came to the VRA?
We have yet to have a single judicial hearing of the Senate when they control it. We have yet to have an inquiry around all the vote suppression methods. There was not a single Section 2 claim filed by the Justice Department. There have not been an issue raised from the Republican National Committee. There has not been a true desire to address Russia's interference in our election by seeking to suppress black votes and subvert democracy.
Let me put a pin in right there.
At the end of the day, when you talk about
everybody at home,
maybe you all should get more black Republicans to come and talk to advocate.
But here's the deal, though. Let me unpack that. First of all, black Republicans call for their own meeting.
You'd be surprised.
No, wait a minute. Now, everybody watching. Let me just sort of break it down even further what Derek just said. I'm going to try to narrow this thing down, what Derek just said, to my question. They ain't done a damn thing. On the issue of voting and voting rights and the Voting Rights Act, the Republican Party in the last 7 years ain't done a damn thing.
But suppress.
In fact, Goodlatte refused to even have a hearing.
That's right.
You have Sensenbrenner, white Republican from Wisconsin, who actually had a bill that had about 20 or 30 co-sponsors. The next Congress, it dropped down to about 5 co-sponsors. The next Congress, it dropped down to 1. That's your party, CJ. So if you want better votes, support issues that black people care about.
And at that time when Sensenbrenner was there, myself and other black Republicans, yes, there are plenty of us. They do have some control and some influence.
Wait. Go ahead. No, Scott, go ahead. Okay, you and some other black Republicans.
And those we advocated. We have not had a meeting Look, and that's as far as it went. We've
And
not
what
had a
happened?
meeting at all with any other
They didn't have
leadership.
a meeting.
He
We
wouldn't
have
even
not
meet
had
with
any other meetings with any other leadership within the NAACP.
No, Scott, stop. No, hold on.
Let me finish.
Hold up. I want to know. You
Let
said
me finish.
you and some other black Republicans.
And we were
No,
instrumental
did y'all-
in having that hearing with
Did-
Sensenbrenner.
Hold up.
Since then,
What
and
hearing?
since- when he supported that, we were instrumental.
Hold on,
in
on what
supporting-
hearing?
On Section 4.
Wait a minute,
What's
on
his
what
floor.
hearing?
On voters' rights.
And what hearing was that? Because Goodlatte would not allow there to be a hearing. That was a discussion.
We were supportive. Read
Y'all
my
was,
lips.
hold up,
supportive.
Stop.
Not again. We
Hold
were
up, let me
supportive
unpack.
of having the hearing.
Hold up. You just said, I just want to be clear about it home.
We were supportive
You just
of having
said
the hearing.
black Republicans were supportive of having a hearing. Was there a hearing?
No.
Which means they wouldn't listen to y'all.
Right.
So hold up. So if, hold on, no, Scott, wait a minute.
doesn't have
so
to deal with
if the
we were
Republicans-
supportive.
If the Republicans won't even listen to black Republicans.
They listened to us.
Well, actually,
Hold on, they listen to y'all?
These
Did
are the-
y'all get a hearing?
But you know, a piece that
No, we didn't get a hearing.
So, hold on,
but
wait,
it doesn't mean that we,
wait,
no,
up minute.
we know
Wait,
we didn't get a hearing.
You just said they listened to us.
Yes, they do.
Did y'all get a hearing?
The answer is no.
Y'all couldn't even get a hearing.
Doesn't
Hold
make
up,
a difference.
Not a
It doesn't
bill.
mean that,
See,
it
not a
doesn't mean
bill.
that
CJ,
we
you
don't
got
have
a
any
law.
influence.
CJ, can you at least admit that the black Republicans of today are different than the black Republicans we heard Derek talk about, like Ben Hooks, or we hear Roland talk about, we talk about
They're
Ed
not
Brooks.
different.
Well, no, I'm thinking particularly about a meeting called the Claremont meeting, where they basically recruited Clarence Pendleton, Clarence Thomas. They grew a crew of house Negroes that they can move around like they
And
wanted.
we have some of them, and some of them we have
But
very
I'm saying,
different opinions.
other than, I mean, who are these black Republicans who are connected to the previous generations
All I'm
of black
saying is this
Of
here. CJ.
And some of us are here.
CJ.
We are here.
CJ.
Okay.
Colin Powell.
We are
Colin
here.
Powell. CJ. Colin Powell.
He ain't the only-
Colin
he ain't the
Powell
only
went
black
to
Republican.
North Carolina
He ain't the only
and
black
invited
Republican.
by then Governor Pat McCrory, and Colin Powell stood in front of him and other Republicans and said, the voter suppression laws that you are supporting in this state are an offense to black people and should not be implemented. And the North Carolina Republican Party said, damn you and
And
your
that's the
4
difference.
stars.
And Colin
We're gonna pass.
Here's
Oh, no, hold on,
Here's-
CJ.
here's the
Hold on,
problem.
CJ. The Republican Party of North Carolina Twitter handle, NCGOP, passed the most oppressive voter suppression law in America that was struck down by federal courts, was not even looked at by the Supreme Court, and those federal courts said they had laser-like precision of Republicans targeting black voters. Lindsey Graham didn't say a damn thing about that law.
And
Lindsey
Colin
Graham
Powell is
said
not the
nothing.
only black
And
Republican.
and that's why you
And
get
if you
a failing grade
and if
from the
you had-
NAACP.
if the NAACP
Colin
had
Powell, who
voted
is
to-
a member
Can I
of
say one other thing?
NAACP.
Lindsey Graham
Yes.
didn't
A life
say.
member.
Yes.
Hold on one second. Lindsey Graham didn't say he wanted a higher score. He said he didn't know why he didn't have a higher score. It's very different.
That's right.
All I'm
Captain.
saying is, at
That's
the
right,
end of the day,
Captain. That's
you
right.
There are
keep
plenty of
playing
black Republicans.
games on this.
right.
You keep playing
Plenty of
games
black
on this.
Republicans.
You keep playing games on
Are
this.
Black
they
Republicans.
effective? Do they have power? Can they effectuate some sensibility?
Can y'all get a
within the
hearing?
Party? Can you get a hearing?
remember in 2000.
And I think during the 2016 convention, it was Mr. Hillary Shelton that I invited
We
to
come
the
to
platform.
every convention.
So-
We are at
and
every
so-
Republican convention. We're at every Democratic convention because we have an agenda and we seek to have that in the
Come on, dawg.
platform.
And an
As of yet, over the last 20 years, the Republicans have had a stonewall of adopting any of our platforms for the
Because
agenda.
some of your
Because they
platforms
don't agree
need
with the platform. Hold on. In order for black people to join the Republican Party or leave the Democratic Party, right? And I'm a Democrat, and the Democratic Party stands for abortion rights, health care rights, human rights, civil rights, reasonable gun control, right?
Voting
and the
rights.
Republican Party, voting rights, that's number 6. You can keep
Kinda
going.
important.
That's right,
But now, for me to leave the Democratic Party and to go to the Republican Party, can the Republican Party assure me of these 7 things that will represent my
Hell
interests as
no!
a
Give
person
me
of
one
color?
of them.
I went by.
Don't say seven.
Hold on.
Can they do one of them?
Did you get everything from your woman?
They don't
No.
have
Wow.
3 or 4.
Well, hell,
There's
I do.
negotiating.
One or
Oh,
two.
no, don't.
There's
do it, Robert.
negotiating.
Hold on.
Don't
So
do it,
is-
Robert.
I don't have to negotiate to get in the party.
Let me-
And so it's
Yeah.
unrealistic that any African American and their
It's-
community and their interests are ever going to be served by the Republican Party.
Look, we got-
or go to the Republican
I-
Party.
Whether
to do
you
this right
agree, whether you voted for President Trump, we've gotten some headway within our community. We got criminal justice
because
reform.
of Donald Trump.
You got 800,000 federal workers out of work because of one mad man.
Absolutely.
and one mad woman.
Okay, put them both together then. Him
What
and his
is
wife.
she mad about?
I know you ain't talking about
She don't
Nancy
want to build a
Pelosi.
wall like
Let
65%
me
of the rest
do
of the
this here.
country.
Let me-
Don't want to
let-
build a
And
wall.
all, and all,
That's
no,
ineffective.
and all those black women in Los Angeles that's
You gonna do
complaining
those
about.
things?
Let
build a wall for
me do this right
2,000
here.
miles.
Hold up,
No.
Scott,
remarkable.
CJ, Greg,
Yeah.
Derek. Y'all,
show is
this real simple. Y'all, this real simple. This real simple. We started this whole discussion off Lindsey Graham trying to understand why Republicans get failing grades. We've laid it out very clearly. If Republican Party would like to get a better grade, let's start on voting. Let's see you oppose voter suppression. CJ, let me know when y'all black Republicans actually get a meeting or a hearing. Because if y'all ain't gonna get a hearing, they surely as hell ain't gonna talk to other black people. And y'all can keep inviting the NAACP to cute little receptions and to the conventions, and y'all can invite them to nice little gatherings. But at the end of the day, if you stand in opposition to black folks voting,
Ain't nothing wrong
y'all
with
gonna
it.
catch some hell. I'm gonna go to a break. You wanna check out Roland Martin Unfiltered? YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. See that name right there? Roland Martin Unfiltered. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so when we go live, you'll know it.